What are drugs?
Cure for medical purposes.
If it's an unhealthy habit, it's going to be handling and understanding emotion.
And what is peer pressure? What violence actually means.
Violence is meant to bully someone.
Navchetna, a new consciousness on life skills and drug education for school children. Objectives. By the end of the session, students will be able to: first, to recognize different forms of violence and how they may vary between boys and girls. Second, to understand the effects of violence on young people. Third, to appreciate the traits of a trusted adult. Fourth, to know how to report incidents of violence.
Good morning, everyone. Sit down, all of you. The class is full today. Huh? Very nice. Today we are going to start with a different topic, which is understanding and reporting violence. All right. So this is a very interesting topic which is very relevant for you today, and you are actually listening and seeing a lot of things whatever is happening around. We are just going to transact a little bit of knowledge about that. You are free to interact, and in fact I want you to interact, and we are just going to see what it is, how it is affecting us, and how we can avoid. All right? Yes. All right. So shall we start? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Now tell me, you have all heard the term violence. Yes, huh? So what does it mean to you? One at a time. Okay. What does it mean to you? Just start from here.
Ma'am, violence is meant to bully someone.
This is the topic today. Okay. He said it's bullying. Do you agree? Yes. I think yes. Bullying has a little bit of violence in that. Any other opinion?
Ma'am, in my opinion, I guess being offensive is also in violence.
Once again?
Ma'am, being offensive.
Offensive, yes. Being offensive to somebody. Huh? Then?
It can be threatening someone, etc.
Yeah, threatening. It is very important part of. Now this side. What it comes to you when you hear about violence?
Ma'am, criticizing someone to make our own rule.
Criticizing for your own good.
Yes.
Criticism can be for good or for bad. I mean, if you criticize your friend, you are actually telling her that this is an area you need to improve. That is one thing. And unnecessary criticism for someone, unnecessary when it is not needed, just to find fault, can be kind of a bullying, kind of a violence. Another thing, have you ever seen violence in your life while you are going and coming back?
I once saw two car drivers fighting with each other just because of a small thing.
For small thing,
Yes,
then
ma'am,
fighting. When you can actually talk and solve an issue, you unnecessarily you raise your hand, you blow, you hit other, you punch others, you kick. These are all physical violence. Now what are the other things? Kicking each other. Hitting. Then punching. Breaking the arm. Yes.
Scolding someone is also comes under violence.
Any other opinion? Yeah. 1 second.
Ma'am, blackmailing.
Yes. Blackmailing is a part of threatening, but blackmailing is a very offensive form of violence. You are actually trying to intimidate others to get your thing done. These are all different forms of violence we basically see in your daily life, and in a sometimes it's a minor way, sometimes it's a very big issue it becomes. And if you punch, for if you are angry, you punch your friend, sometimes okay fine, he sometimes react, he sometimes doesn't react, you can stop it there. But it becomes very hugely offensive, then you are literally punching and kicking, breaking somebody's arm, breaking somebody's head, bringing bodily harm, it becomes a serious issue. So it can, violence is basically ranging from this much of area, this much of offense to creating serious trouble. It actually becomes a literal problem. Violence is any act that results in physical, psychological or sexual harm or suffering against someone. Fine. It is basically any act which results in physical, psychological or sexual harm or suffering. Now, physical you understood. Physically punching, kicking, beating, breaking somebody's head, somebody's hand. Now, what about psychological? These are all psychological. Threatening, offensive to somebody, blackmailing, you are emotionally creating some trouble on the other, whereas the other person becomes totally distraught. Fine. Now, what about the sexual harm? Sexually also you can do a lot of, you can actually create violence when without the consent of somebody you are actually doing something bodily harm, I mean offending their feelings. These are all coming under the sexual harm. Now, there is something else we need to understand. Violence is always intentional. If you are accidentally kicking your friend, this is not violence. You will immediately say, sorry, I did not do this intentionally, isn't it? And or is it something little bit forcefully at the heat of the moment you are pushing somebody and then go away from here. That is also in a way it is excusable. Though it is not to be done, it is excusable, but then the real harmful violence is always intentional. Fine. So, it is actually with the intention of harming others, and you are not thinking twice that I will be harming somebody, and then you are simply creating it upon, that is actually a real offensive thing. This is the one which actually creates a lot of trouble for others also. Alright. Now, it is always use of the physical force or power. Now, whom all we can do violence? You can do violence against another person. Fine. Since I don't like you, since I am having an argument, I am using a violence against, I am very angry, so I am against one person. It can be against community also. Now, in one community, one group of people decided to offend and create harm for another group. This can be violence against community. Now, what about the other violence? It can be violence against oneself, towards me. How does it take place?
When we're not listening to ourselves and doing something that others tell us to do, then we are harming ourselves.
So, when you know that I am doing something wrong, you know very well that this might harm me, but still you are doing it. Whatever is the reason you are doing it, that can be violence against oneself. Now, another form of violence against oneself is that when you feel guilty that, oh, I have done something very wrong and then I am punishing myself. Alright. Now, we are actually going to have two case studies here. Two people who have faced violence and how we are going to, how they faced it, how they want to solve it, or what solution can we offer. That is what we are going to do now. This is a story of a girl called Mala. I am going to read this aloud. Alright. My name is Mala and I am 11 years old. So, what class she might be in? Class 6 probably. I walk the same way to school every day. It is the only way I can walk to school safely because in the fields there are some bandits and I am afraid to walk through the fields alone, especially when the crops are high. Who are bandits? Bandits are the armed robbers who stay in wait for you. Fine. When somebody passes through, you will be stopped, you will be asked to take your precious things, maybe your jewellery, your watch, your phone, whatever it is, and they will sell or whatever they will, and then this basically robbers. So, when such a kind of a people are there, you are not supposed to be walking around, it is not very safe. So, each day I walk past the bus depot and a liquor shop to get to the school, and each day I am approached by an older man offering to buy me a drink. Do you think it is safe? No. It is not. Now he says he will give me whatever I want. This is the term he used, whatever she wants, and says that a schoolgirl needs a treat from time to time. That is his idea of luring that girl. Now one day he gave me a pretty perfume bottle and I took it. Last week he asked me to go on a walk with him after the school. I said no, but every day he asked me the same thing, and he is getting more and more persistent. Sometimes he gets very close to me and it's hard for me to get away from him without stepping into the traffic. Tomorrow I am going to walk through the fields even though I am scared of the bandits, because I am so scared of the man who has been harassing me. Now what is this harassing means?
Tolerating someone is called
No, it's not tolerating. Harassing is?
When someone is doing something against our will, then it's called harassing.
Yes, pestering us or annoying us for a long time. Fine, that becomes a harassment. Now I don't like it. I mean, that girl does not like the man coming nearby, but then every day he comes nearby without thinking that the girl is not liking, so let me move away. So what is actually happening here? He intends to do violence, isn't it? Now let's move on to another story and we will discuss that. This is a story of a boy called Kapil. My name is Kapil. I come from a very large family. Last year my mother passed away and my father is the only one at home. Only one at home means an elder. My father is often gone because he sells goods in the market. I am the oldest boy and have to help my father take care of my family. I get up very early in the morning to tend to our farm and to make sure all my brothers and sisters are properly fed. After I am sure that everyone is taken care of, I get ready for the school, which is very far from my house. It takes me almost an hour to walk to the school. Sometime when I arrive at school, I am already very tired because I have been working since before dawn. So now my teacher tells me I am a very strong boy and he often makes me go to work in the garden at school, which causes me to miss some of the lessons. Now I realize when I am present in the class, I realize that I have fallen behind because I have missed the previous lesson. Obviously when he is working in the garden, he will be missing the lesson. The next class is a continuation. And I do not want to school to do more work. I want to go to school to learn. Now how can I tell my teacher that I do not want to miss the lesson to work in the garden? He is not so courageous to tell the teacher that no, I don't want to work today in the garden, I want to sit in the class. I want to stay in the classroom and learn. This is the dilemma of the boy. Now, what type of violence do you think these children are facing? One is Mala, who is facing from somebody outside whom she does not know. One is a known person. Let us take the case of Mala. What kind of violence is she facing? Right now, does she face any physical violence? Yes. Coming close, that man comes close. Intention of doing something. Fine? Which she does not like at all. That is one form. Then what kind of other violence is she facing? Harassment. Obviously, harassment. Then?
She is facing threats from the bandits. Like if she will be roaming in the fields though, then she'll be scolded off from the bandits.
Yes, there is a threat. I mean, there's a threat of facing violence. Obviously, bandits will not leave you. Oh, go, freely pass. He will not do that, isn't it? They are waiting for some prey to have to do that. Maybe, probably from the. But as of now, this girl is actually literally pestered by that adult. Fine. What kind of a violence is she facing? You?
Ma'am, she did not go in front of man, but man forced him.
But?
Man forced him.
Man is forcing himself and getting close by, and every day, now do you think about that girl, think in her shoes. Every day when she set out from her home, she is always in a constant fear. When will that man be, where will he be waiting for me, where do I get to the side, how do I avoid him? This is a constant fear in her mind, isn't it? He is also bullying her, he is intimidating her. What is intimidation? The prey becomes very fearful of that person. You become such a looming presence that the other person becomes awed. I don't know what to do. This is intimidation. Fine. So some people can be very intimidating in their stance also. When they come and stay like this and stares you like this, then if it is a little bit of problem, then the other person gets covered. That is intimidating. This man is intimidating her. The girl is under constant fear. It's a kind of a bullying happening. She is under emotional stress. Fine. Now what about Kapil? What kind of a violence does he face?
He pressure family from his family. He getting pressure from his family.
Fine. He faces pressure from the family. His family pressure is something which he can't pass on to others. Since he is the elder, he doesn't have a mother, he has to fill in the shoes of the elderly. So that is one thing. And other kind of a pressure, other kind of anything emotional?
Ma'am, he is mentally disturbed.
Yes, he is mentally disturbed because he is missing out on his lesson. Because he is half the lessons he might be losing. Fine. Then she wanted to tell something.
Ma'am, he was not able to tell the thing to elders, and facing them alone. So he was emotionally, ma'am, she was emotionally threatened too.
Yes, he has not yet discussed with the father. Why the father is already be disturbed? He has no support, and then he has to earn for the family alone. So he hasn't yet discussed. But then more than that, he's not been courageous to oppose his teacher. That is what he is supposed to do, isn't it? He is supposed to tell the teacher, no sir, sorry, today I can't because I want to attend the class. And why is he not actually telling the teacher that?
Having some fear about.
Fear about what?
Getting bad marks.
Getting bad marks, and then?
Maybe he is feared.
Why? Why is afraid?
If he discuss with teacher, ma'am, his mind is not freely with his teacher.
Maybe he would get punished from his teachers.
Yes, that is the most important. One more. Yes.
Ma'am, maybe he was respecting her teacher, and he don't want to disappoint her. That's why he was follow her instructions.
Fine. There are 2-3 things. Number one, if you tell the teacher, how does the teacher takes it? How will the teacher take it? He has no idea. He is first of all afraid that obviously I may get less marks. Fine. The teacher may victimize him. Fine, that means target him in future by giving him less marks. That can be number one. And more than that, he might also victimize him for some other thing. He may punish him more. He may exclude him from some of the activities. Fine, and he may ignore, or he may tell other teachers that this is a very bad boy, or he is not obeying, disobedient boy, whatever. So unnecessary impressions will be created. So this is generally no teacher is supposed to be behaving that way. No child should be afraid of that teacher. And then more important thing here is that the child has to have the courage to stand up and face that issue. It's a simple issue. Fine. And it can be, if he doesn't control, it can become another big issue also. No? So the child is actually lacking the courage to stand up and face the issue and tell the teacher very clearly that, very politely, sir, I am extremely sorry, I cannot do this today. He is actually lacking that thing. Probably if we talk that I am already working from home and I do not have the stamina to do this, maybe the teacher will also exclude him from that work. Though first of all, the teacher is not supposed to do that, but still he may also understand the trouble, but he hasn't actually done so. Now let's see another question. Do you think he or she, Mala or Kapil, is experiencing violence because they are a boy or a girl?
In Kapil's case, he's not experiencing he's not experiencing violence because of his gender, but in Mala's case, she is experiencing because of her gender.
Then Kapil's case, why not?
Ma'am, because ma'am he is a boy, ma'am, the teacher thinks that he has more physical strength and he can do more physical work than the others. So ma'am, he is telling she or he is telling him to do more extra field work.
Yes, and Mala definitely is facing this because she is a girl. Probably it was a boy, then nobody would have intimidated her. Fine. This is one, very initial step of, sexual violence. Somebody coming and intimidating, and then definitely he wants to exploit the girl sexually. Otherwise, why would he ask her to walk with him after the school? Isn't it? That is one thing. And then Kapil, mostly because there is a gender bias of the society. Gender bias which is very much existing, though how much we try to avoid that in the through awareness and whatever it is, the gender bias still exists. People feel that okay, this is a boy, he can do more work, and then maybe girls may get tired. So none of the girls have been asked as of now. The boy has been asked. So probably he or she, the teacher thinks that he has more stamina, so he will be able to do work, but then the teacher does not know that he has already finished his stamina at home and then by walking and then coming here. This is probably because of the gender issue that these children, both of them are facing that issue. But you know what, one thing, girls, if they are determined, though they might seem physically very weak, but girls have the capacity to do more work. Mentally as well as physically. So the girls don't feel that physically that bias is existing and then I need to follow the bias. Try to do more physical work, build up your stamina, and then you can do so much mentally. The researchers have already proved that girls have the most capacity to do double working. Your mother might be doing folding clothes and talking, cooking and doing something else also. Fine? Okay, that is one thing. Now let's go to the other one. What are the effects of this type of violence on the students in this scenario?
Ma'am, depression.
Yes. Now, when you think about that, depression is a huge term. It's a huge term. Nobody actually just immerse themselves, like diving down deep into the ocean. Nobody immerse themselves into the depression. You actually feel a lot of other things. I mean, you feel gloomy, you feel insecure, you have nobody else to talk to, and then slowly you turn into depression. Let's be more clear about the effects. How will she feel that?
She would be scared of every road, which it would be safe or not.
Every area she will think twice or maybe many times before setting out from the home, where all people might be waiting for me. She will actually feel victimized. Fine? A little bit beginning of victimized. This is again violence against oneself. It is not her trouble. It is not her problem. She did not face she did not do anything to face it on her, but when she faced it, she might feel that I am actually becoming a victim. Then, will she be very happy to walk to school every day morning? No, she will think twice, and if the man is becoming more persistent and then rather than coming close, he is actually thinking about doing something else, the girl might even think of dropping the school. She hasn't actually, as of now, she hasn't discussed with anyone else. So she may drop out from the school. She actually feels victimized or intimidated. Then?
Ma'am, she will think that every man is the same kind of.
She actually compartmentalizes people. She compartmentalizes people, and then she thinks that nobody I can trust. Later it may affect her family life as well. Fine, and even the distant relatives, when they come, she might also not trust them. Fine. Now what about Kapil? How does it affect him?
Loss of study of Kapil.
Obviously he is losing out on his lessons.
Mentally distracted.
And then he initially at home itself, while doing all this work, he might even be thinking that okay, what am I going to do in the garden, how much I am going to get tired, and then what all classes will I miss, and then when the teacher asks a question, he will be blank. So is it creating a nice impression on the other teachers? He is not being taught by one, isn't it? And then also when he is actually losing out on all these things, and then obviously his marks will be very low, and what will he answer to the father? He is not being going to the school just to become a field worker, isn't it?
Due to only one teacher, he has the mindset that all the teachers are of same kind and they will scold him for all the things he had
He
done.
again will compartmentalize the teachers. Every teacher is like this, and he will not trust anybody. He will not, even though the approachable teachers also, he will keep them in a distance. Therefore, what is he losing out? He is losing out probably of some person who is approachable and discussable. Fine. So, he could have easily gone to any other and discuss it, but he will not do that. Now,
he thought that he is not good student and he's able to do like this. He is not able to sit in class and learn something.
yes, he will be discouraged slowly from the studies. He will feel that I am of not any use. I mean, why? Because all the lessons are connection from one to the other. If you don't do well in class 8 and if you are blank in class 9, you will not understand anything. Fine. And even in one class, between a gap of 2 months, you will not even understand the next chapter. Fine. So, he will slowly push himself back from the studies, and ultimately he may also have the scare of dropping out from the school.
He can't concentrate on things, and as well as he can't share his thoughts with his family members as well.
So, one main problem is losing the concentration. When he is doing something else, he is always thinking in the mind. This happened to Mala also. Losing the concentration is also something which is very, very important effect of violence, because it can actually manifest from this amount, it can actually create trouble in a larger area of life also.
Ma'am, he is also facing a family pressure that he is older.
He is also facing a family pressure. Then obviously that cannot be shunned. He has to do, or probably at few years later he can train the youngers to also to do some of the other work, but then at least at present he is actually taking a lot of family pressure. Let us go to the next question. What are some possible consequences of this violence if it goes unchecked?
Ma'am, first of all, the child could have depression thoughts and suicidal thoughts, and in Mala case, if it goes unchecked, the man could also track her the road through which she goes, and can do many things which is not correct.
Yes. If it goes unchecked, it increases in degree, isn't it? Right now he is coming close and he is simply asking her to follow me for a walk. Tomorrow he can grab her, and then if he understands that she passes through the field where the crops are very high, she will be very short, 11-year-old girl. He can follow her there also, and he can sexually attack her. Fine. So, it can in Kapil's case.
Ma'am, he'll probably feel a lot of loneliness and have no one to tell about his situations and all.
Yes. One of the very important trouble. He already has burden of family on him, and then he feels that if I am talking to my father about this, father will be again, what can I do? I mean, I need his help, and I also want him to study, and then why troubling the father? He may feel very lonely. This is very important thing, and this loneliness actually creates lot of other troubles later, psychological trouble. In any violence, if it goes unchecked, if we don't take care of this in the very initial stage, it can actually create lot of harm.